I'm Ece Erguvenn, and I'm actually coming from Turkey, and I'm studying at ETSAP for a whole year as an exchange student, and I study architecture. I have like 1 more year to graduate. I've always been interested in arts and crafts since my childhood, and I thought that's what kind of thing that I can do for a career, and I left out so many things. And I thought that, yeah, let's just try architecture. But now I'm enjoying it. And when I'm in Barcelona, I really started to enjoy it more because of the atmosphere of the city and all the architectural artifacts and stuff. So now I'm happy with my decision. Gaudi is like a really well-known Catalan architecture who's been a part of Catalan modernism, and I can also say about his style that he followed something called Neo-Gothic, which is like a revivalism of some other disciplines. As a source of inspiration, he always used nature and religion together. For example, in the sense of Kasabatyo, we can see that he actually wanted to create a scene which looks like an impressionist painting with all the broken glasses and the ceramic pieces that looks like water lilies. And I was really impressed by that when I first saw it, because I never thought about it that way. I just think that they were decoration. But when I learned that it was more than that, I was really surprised and impressed by Gaudi's mind, how it works. He has some new kind of construction techniques which you've never done before, and he really liked to implement new techniques that he designed, and I think he had a really successful buildings with it. So before I began the visit, I really didn't imagine that it would be like such a journey, because I never knew how the inside looked, and when I first entered the house, it kind of felt like living in the exact moment that the building was built, and I was a part of the family, because we were using some kind of audio guide, which was just like a fairy tale explaining all details and the general living in the house, and I kind of imagined myself in it, like how would I circulate into the building and how would I use actually the functions. I think the most favorite part, apart from the facade, is that the main living room, because the big windows, they were actually woodwork, and they were like really precise, and I really couldn't figure out how the curved shape was designed. And when you actually look out of the windows, you can clearly see the Passeig de Gracia, and it's like a really good view. And it kind of explained the thing we've always been learning in architecture schools, which is a threshold. It kind of means that the relationship between the inside and outside, and you can clearly see that Gaudi created this masterpiece, not just thinking about the functions in the inside, but he wanted to add the outside world into the inside and mix them together. And so the colorful glasses up in the upper part of the windows was really good as well, because it kind of diffused light in a way that created a really beautiful atmosphere inside. Actually, I was really impressed by the diaphanous spaces, which were like not rectilinear and not systematic. It was all instinctive that he wanted to create, and it kind of flows through the whole building. When you're going up the stairs, you can actually feel the flow of design. When I first go to Istanbul to study, I was really interested in the palace that I've seen like in the very first hours I spent in Istanbul. It was Dolmabahce Palace, maybe you know. It's like the biggest palace in Istanbul, and it have been served as a main administrative building for the Ottoman Empire. And when I first saw it, I was really impressed by the ornamentations and the details on the facade, and when you go inside, it's actually like a really different world, because the richness you feel, like all the details, for example, the crystals, embellishments, the gold used, it was like something really that I'm unaware of because I've only seen the facade from the television, but when I see it, I was really impressed with it. If I want to compare it to Gaudi's architecture, we can clearly see that there have been a really massive amount of thinking into detailing all the structural components, and I think we can differentiate between the materials used. For example, for the Dolmabahce Palace, there was like really high quality materials which costed really much to the Ottoman Empire, like gold and crystals and like handmade objects. But for the Gaudi, I never thought that it would be cheaper than I expected because he used some recycled materials onto facades. For example, the broken glasses were free to him to use, and like ceramic and some wood materials which are like relatively cheaper. The architectural representation, architectural style that they used, Gaudi's style is like more organic, more transformative, and we can see undulating surfaces, etc. But in regarding to Dolmabahce Palace, we can actually see it's like Baroque, Rococo, neoclassicist style, which actually featured Ottoman Empire's own style as well, so it was like a mix. Okay, when I first came here, I wasn't really sure that architecture was my thing, like if I really wanted to pursue it for the rest of my life or not, because I didn't really know what should I expect from it, and I didn't know the limitations which I can create. But when I saw Gaudi, I actually felt like there's no restrictions, there's no limitations. It all ends with your creative mind, your imagination, and your inspiration points. And I know that he was like really good pioneer of Catalan architecture and Catalan modernism. I get really inspired for how he actually saw the world, and he transformed the world, the nature itself, into his buildings. And yeah, I kind of realized that if I wanted to do so, I can create beautiful things looking at nature and getting inspiration from it, which was actually what I thought before I can do. The technicality is important, but at the same time, you have to put something from yourself into your own buildings, and you have to show how you feel about it so that the other persons that uses the building can feel the same and experience what you thought initially. I think whether you're an architecture student, architecture lover, or nothing above, I'm pretty sure that you'll fall in love with Barcelona and especially Gaudi's architecture. So I can really recommend you to visit here and experience it for yourself.